Bihar abolished, and I repeat, abolished the APMC, yet no one protested. Yes, you heard me right. No farmer protested, as it was not because people were not aware. No, in fact, perhaps the most politically active population resides in Bihar, yet they did not register a protest. That's because 95% of Bihari farmers did not even know where the hell APMCs were in their vicinity. And they never visited the one. As you know, APMCs are primarily used to procure your food grain by the government, and as you know, majority of the food grain gets procured from Punjab and Haryana, and just an iota of procurement goes to other states like Rajasthan and UP. Hence, traditionally Bihari farmers sold their produce to local traders at around rupees 1300 to 1600 per quintal, even less than the MSP. Now, one important reason behind companies not going to Bihar, besides the abolition of APMCs and the condition of farmers not improving at all, is the small size. In fact, very small size of land holding of Bihari farmers. Almost 90% of Bihari farmers owns less than 1 hectare of land, and that's too small for any company to establish their contract farming in Bihar. Any business or trader wants huge landholders to deal with, as that is more convenient to convince one big landholder with 10 to 15 acres of land than negotiating with 15 to 20 small farmers, as in the case of Bihar. And that's the reason why the abolition of APMCs did not yield significant results in Bihar. You can imagine the impact of landholding from following example. Businessmen and traders chose Madhya Pradesh over Bihar. Madhya Pradesh, that has APMC laws, but still traders and businessmen, big businessmen like ITC, chose Madhya Pradesh over Bihar, as Madhya Pradesh has better landholding size than Bihar. You can see the landholding difference yourself. आप खुद बताओ, एक अकेली रेहड़ी से सब्जी खरीदना प्रेफर करोगे जहां कोई ऑप्शन नहीं है, कोई बार्गेनिंग नहीं हो सकती, या एक सब्जी मंडी से जहां पर आपके पास बहुत सारे ऑप्शंस हैं और बार्गेनिंग भी कर सकते हो? Moreover, another big factor that led to the worst pricing in food grain for a Bihari farmer is the non-availability of industries. Yes, my dear friend, industries. Residents of Punjab and Haryana are affluent and consume more sweets, more food grain, more branded atta and rice. Hence, the companies mostly preferred to establish their unit in Punjab and Haryana. But as of now, they have been denied because of APMC monopoly. Once you allow corporates to establish mandi, farmers would run to sell their produce, as companies would offer higher than the MSP, not because of the government regulations, but because of the market competition. This thing happened in telecom, airlines, hotel and hospitality, steel and banking. Competition benefits not just the consumer, it benefits the supplier. As you know, land is scarce, and so are the food grains, and companies would have to offer better prices than others to procure more from farmers. And in case any firm or company or corporate tries to deceive the farmers, then these farmer organizations and unions can come up like they do with industries to protect the interest of farmers. But denying entry to industries with just an apprehension of them being rude and exploitative is purely absurd. And one more thing, here big farmers and landholders can also establish their own farmer producer organizations and enter the market themselves, like Lijjat Papad did. आप अपनी खुद की एक आटा बनाने वाली कंपनी बना लो ना, नाम रख दो, ब्रांड कर दो किसान आटा, और उसको मार्केट में डालो. क्या करना है? पीसना ही तो है उसको साफ करके. आप खुद की बड़े लैंड होल्डर्स हो, 15-20 एकड़ ज़मीन है, मिलके खूब सारे लोग मिलके अपने प्रोड्यूस को खुद ही कर लो. लिज्जत पापड़ ने भी ऐसे ही किया था, और बहुत सारी ब्रांड्स, मैं नाम भूल गया उनका, एक पानीपत की एक ब्रांड है जो अचार बना के बेचती है, ऐसे ही उसने भी ऐसे ही किया है. And the arguments that company is going to loot the farmers by selling at higher rates to consumers is not possible, as you can't charge beyond a certain limit. Not because of the government regulations, but because of the competition. Competition always make the more expensive less lucrative, as it happened with Kingfisher Airlines, Air India, Airtel, BSNL, and the list goes on. Bihar lost because it has less farm size, because it has less industries. Besides that, Bihar did something quite surprising. Between 1990 to 2005, Bihar had 3.5% of GDP growth, while the national average stood around 7.5%. But coincidentally, after the abolition of APMCs, the GDP rate shot up to 13%, while the national average hovered around 7.5% between 2008 to 2018. Now, since Bihar has no industries or service sector, I guess that growth came from the agriculture, right? There have been various complaints about Punjabi traders buying cheap sugar from Bihar and selling at higher rates in Punjab and Haryana and making profit. Have you ever wondered why Bihar did not have higher prices for their produce, but Punjab and Haryana has such high prices? Because of the industry-led consumption that made people of Haryana and Punjab more affluent, that made them consume more sugar and other products. Hence, the demand for such commodities rose up in these states with the rise in income level, and that led to the higher prices of commodities such as rice, sugar, and other products. But the same industries are not present in Bihar, so the same higher level of prices could not be witnessed there. Hence, Bihar is still poor. And don't worry, Punjabi farmers can never come at par with the Bihari farmers.